Here with us now, NBC News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent and host.
We don't got to get to Andrea. We love Andrea.
I want to get to Andrea. That's
why we wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and that's why we need to get to her.
Thanks for that.
She is the host of MSNBC at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Andrea, it's a great show. You got to watch it. Andrea Mitchell joins us. Andrea, good morning.
Hi.
Andrea, we're talking.
Glad to hear you all arguing the major economic, debates of the 20th century. The only problem is this is the 21st century. And this all seems like so old.
It is the 21st century, but I'll guarantee you, if people's tax rates are increased by 4 percentage points on income tax, this will suddenly become a 21st century issue.
Yeah, but not the way it's being framed. Not by, as Mark Halpern was just saying, and John, by pulling up a little snippet of a 7-year-old interview, a symposium on Constitution and the law from NPR in Chicago, where it's not even clear what Barack Obama was discussing unless you have a law degree from Harvard University. That's all.
Well, I mean, he talks about redistributing wealth and that the Warren Court was not radical enough because there wasn't the what do you mean not really?
It's not clear that that's what the words. It's not clear that is not taking it out of context, Joe. In fairness to everybody involved, I tried to read deeper into this yesterday, more deeply into this, and was persuaded by people a lot smarter than I about the law that he wasn't really speaking about income redistribution. He was speaking simply descriptively about what the court did and what the court did not do, and what is appropriately the role of the court. There are some people arguing that he was taking a conservative position about this was not the business of the court.
Which
people
would that be?
Community organizers.
David Axelrod and
no.
And, I mean, who would think that when a guy talks about one of that the Warren Court did not go for enough, that actually one of the great tragedies was there wasn't a redistribution of wealth. I mean, I did go to law school, and there is nothing conservative about what he said.
But actually, Joe, he said that
I'm
the
not
court
a lawyer,
can't do
exactly.
that. No, he said the court's not equipped to do that.
Not now.
Yeah,
exactly.
It didn't sound like he was advocating that the court do it.
What
he was saying the civil rights movement needed to recognize that if that's the kind of change they want, they weren't going to get it from the court.
And now he's saying, and again, he said it didn't go far enough. Now he's saying it needs to be done by legislators or needs to be done administratively now. Is that correct, Andrea?
I don't know what he is saying today about this subject. I know what he said 7 years ago, which is that it was not the business of the courts to get into this. He was taking, would you believe, a strict constructionist view of the role of the court. He was not He was not arguing against social action, hardly that. But he was saying that the courts were not in that business and shouldn't be in that business.
What what does John McCain do as we move forward? Obviously, they're seizing on this. They're seizing on and
there's very little time.
Some
left.
other things. There's very little time left. Are you sensing in that campaign a belief that the end may be near? That it's a couple of minutes till midnight.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of bad signals. The New York Times story over the weekend, which had obviously been written weeks earlier, but the Bob Draper story about problems in the campaign, all of the tension between the Palin and McCain forces, which is real, which is palpable, that all has the feel of a campaign that knows it's in trouble. Clearly they are behind. They say that they can still make it. You saw John McCain as feisty as ever on Meet the Press with Tom Brokaw. But the problem they have is that they shouldn't be discussing socialism tactically. Socialism 7 years ago in an old radio interview. If they want to talk about what is on people's minds, according to every focus group and every poll, it's how to cure the economic problems now. So making Obama the issue at this stage, when at least as far as most voters are concerned, through those debates, he persuaded people that he was a reasonable, calm, not threatening person. That's not going to work. What they have to do is present ideas for how to fix what people are worried about, which is their 401ks. And I don't hear that coming through.
Yeah, music's coming up, but I want to follow up on something that you said. My gosh, Sarah Palin does not like her handlers in the McCain campaign, does not like especially the Bush alum. I'm surprised at just how nasty that's getting.
when you recruit Elizabeth Hasselbeck to be your advocate on the trail because you don't like the people the McCain campaign have assigned to you, which is an age-old problem with vice presidential running mates.
I actually might have, just looking at the shot, I may actually have Elizabeth as a surrogate for me. No, I like the green. It pops on stage. Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank you, Andrea.
Andrea, thanks so much. What do you have at 1 o'clock today?
Oh, I knew you'd ask.
Still working.
We're not quite sure. It's a work in progress.
It's always a work in progress, because you know what? Andrea, the thing I love about Andrea is, boom, when the news breaks at 12:59, she's on the phone and she's got...
But you just heard her. She tells the truth.
She tells the truth. Of course she does.
Love her. Andrea Mitchell, thanks so much for coming on the show this morning once again.
And you are a champion of the redistribution of intelligence. You make
That's why I wore red.
You make dumb, thick guys like me just a little bit smarter.
Right here.
A little bit smarter every day at 1 o'clock. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Andrea.